Hi, I'm Liv.
And I'm Patrick.
And this is the Mach-E vlog. And today we are finally doing a first drive in the Kia EV6. So let's go. So we are here with the Rocky Mountain Auto Press. They have this great event with a whole bunch of cars that we all get to drive. We actually drove a gas vehicle, the Lexus LX, over to the location where we started driving the Kia EV6. So it's so strange coming directly from a gas vehicle to an EV, and it's such a great reminder that EVs are awesome. Like, he was pedal to the metal in the Lexus at one point going uphill, and it's chonky.
Barely moving and taking lots of gas.
Yeah.
I think it was like 19 miles per gallon is what that thing gets.
Yep.
Versus the EV6, which we're really happy to be in. And we're going on a little fun drive. It's only about a 30-minute drive, but we're gonna sort of explore the interior. Liv will do more of that because I'm gonna be concentrating on the road. But this is gonna be a lot of fun.
This is super fun, and it's about time. I mean, I feel like the Kia EV6 is really such a direct competitor with the Mach-E, and this exact model, as it is spec'd, is so comparative to our first edition, our premium Mach-E, basically.
Similar, no glass roof.
No glass roof. I didn't even notice. See, that's the thing with the glass roof, is like, you don't look up that much. Isn't that Netflix movie, Don't Look Up? See,
yeah.
That's the problem. Always look up. But speaking of the interior, I actually really love the interior of the EV6. It's got a really open cabin, really beautiful. There's just, it just looks really great. I actually prefer this to the Ioniq 5 personally. How about you?
I like this interior better than the Ioniq 5. The dash is similar to the Ioniq 5, and I do like the dash, how it's laid out. You don't have the big screen that you do in the Mach-E or like the Model Y, but there's enough of it here to feel the command of your essentials while you're driving, as well as your media. So I like this so far. And
it's very driver focused, but it's not so cocooned. Like, there's some cabins, like obviously the Audis are very driver focused and they're very cocooned, like a cockpit or command center. But this is definitely driver focused, but it's still very open. There's tons of legroom in the footwell. There's very easy access to the power outlets, the 12 volt, as well as the USB A and C chargers. And the buttons are not tangible buttons, but they are very clearly labeled, and this is just on the screen, and then this like mini screen below it. But then the buttons on this center console here are actually buttons, and as we noted before when we just sat in the Kia EV6 at one of the auto shows, these are the things that you use mostly, like the parking camera, which I think the Mach-E really needs, is like, instead of having to do press, because it's two presses, right?
Yeah, you got to tap on the control and then tap on cameras.
Whereas here in the EV6, it's literally right by your right elbow, so it's so easy. And auto hold, and I'm not sure what the parking thing is, but like the Mach-E, we have a dial as well for selecting your drive modes, right?
Yeah. So yeah. Reverse, neutral, drive, which is all you have in an EV or most EVs. And speaking of cameras, this has the function, so when I turn on my blinker, I can look down there versus looking over in the actual side mirror. So that's pretty cool. Although it's a bit like, it's a weird thing to sort of like look at that and not be looking over there. I guess you get used to it. And it's a camera versus like real life. So it's a neat feature, but I'm not sure how I would use it most of the time. I see my what is that thing?
It's like the rear traffic alert.
Not rear traffic. There's somebody there. There's a warning in the mirror, but there's also here saying that there's somebody to my left. I'm sort of discombobulated because like we literally they pulled in with the EV6. I'm like, can we take that? And I'm like, yes, and we hopped in. So
this is such a cool event. If you are doing any automotive stuff or trying to blog or vlog, hang on, I gotta get that.
I'll leave it on.
Okay. So if you're trying to do any of that, I encourage you to try see if there are automotive press associations in your area. If you're in Colorado and you are an aspiring blogger, vlogger, whatever, think about signing up, because it's like $60 a year or something, and then this event was free. And
other journalists.
They're so nice.
Go to events like this, you'll get on press release things. So I highly encourage it if you're, working to, create your own channel or write for a blog or whatever. But back to this, so far it's, this is like a curvy freeway almost. It isn't technically a freeway because there are like things like that where there's side traffic, but it rides really nice. It's a bit firmer than our first edition / premium was, but I think so far the handling feels closer to the GT than the premium. In other words, it's not as bouncy. So if you want a firmer ride, this is really great. And the steering, we'll get to that when we get on the curvier road. So we're taking this road out, and then we'll take a 2-lane road back. I'll just leave my blinker on like a grandpa so she can get See?
And we're getting the red alert, whatever we call that. Someone remind us what that's called.
I need more coffee. We got coffee here.
I know.
Noise level is really good. It's fairly quiet. I'm getting to hum, and I'm not sure if it has a fake noise or not, or if that's the actual motors that I'm hearing.
But as far as things that are similar to the GT, these seats are actually really well bolstered, and they appear to be ventilated. Are these ventilated?
I'm not sure. I'll have to check the sticker. I still think the GT is bolstered quite a bit more. So I would say it's in between like a Mach-E Premium and a GT Performance
or
Edition.
GT Performance Edition, but it's definitely more bolstered than the Premium. These are really comfy seats. They are.
And of course, one of our few chances to test
acceleration.
So that's fairly on par, it feels like, to Mach-E Premium. So all-wheel drive extended range. Not as quick as the GT. They are coming out with the GT version of this later this year. They have the GT line, which is not really their high performance version, but the GT high performance version is coming out later, and that's going to be pretty spicy.
Yeah, spicy.
Yeah, I think that's a Kyle word that I adapted. Yeah, you hang out with people and you
absorb their
quirks.
Their words. Yeah,
and I love cows.
I think we have a couple of each other's quirks now.
But this is fairly nice. Steering feels moderately heavy, which with the Mach-E you can change based on drive mode, which actually I forget. Like I can change drive mode here.
Oh,
somebody
Lord.
cut me off.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, I turned the radio on. Ah, there we go. Drive mode.
Change the drive mode.
Oh, there's eco. Well, that sucks.
Oh, I felt that. That just went.
It just took away a lot of the pedal. Like it just went into like a less powerful mode, and we're going uphill, which it would be great. Like I would use that on longer trips. Now we're in normal. I could again feel it surge a little bit. And I sort of want to just feel the steering. Does it feel lighter in normal mode? So let's see. Yeah, it feels a little bit lighter.
And what do you mean when you say lighter?
So depending on what you're driving, the steering will feel like light, and by light that means it's like very easy. Like I could steer with one finger, and this is like hard to hold the curve with one finger. And then we got the surge again. I switched to sport. But when it's light, it's like it takes a very light touch to turn it. The Mach-E in the GT, this is our exit. The Mach-E with the GT, like an Unbridled, can get very heavy as well. We're gonna take this.
Oh my Lord. Ooh. Oh.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. I felt a little bit of body roll there, and I am taking this fast.
A little bit.
And then we'll try the braking.
I'm glad you warned me. That was nice.
Yeah.
That was good braking. How does it feel? Like the Mach-E is very responsive brakily? Oh my goodness. Listen to that sound.
Yeah, that's artificial. Okay.
That's fun.
And now we're gonna have fun on a 2-lane road. Braking feels natural. And they've modified the Mach-E brake recently with the over-the-air update, and now it feels better. Like it's not as grabby or touchy. This feels very nice and smooth, very comfortable. It does have one pedal, so I am using the regen to slow down. But now we're going to go through here, still staying on the speed limit. We're going to have a little bit of fun because this is a nice curvy road pretty much all the way back. Parallels what we just did coming out here. It's called Turkey Creek Road of all things. Very, very pretty out here. And it feels really good. I'm hearing squeaks and rattles, but only from our coffee mugs. Otherwise, it feels very solid as well. I would like to turn off that noise, but I'm not going to worry about that. We'll just deal with it.
Yeah. The controls, like, it's very graphic heavy, but not as many controls. Sounds of nature. It's really interesting. Like, you have the media controls that are accessible and the air, but like less is visible. Like the Mach-E feels very information and tech heavy. Like you can see everything that you can go through. You can switch between apps and everything. So this is quite simplistic and uncomplicated, I guess. It might be nice if you are not into super tech stuff, perhaps, or just want a more clean display. And we just did some windy roads this past weekend in our GT Performance Edition, and I really noticed a difference between that and the Premium because of the bolstering in the seats. And now with Patrick throwing us around these curves and everything, I feel fine. Like, I'm not getting thrown around too badly. How about you?
I can tell that it's not quite as much as the GT, but it is pretty good. And I believe one of the things about, the other people have really did not like about like the Premium Mach-E is that the back end is a little bouncy or
it has a
unrefined. Yeah, this does not feel that way at all. It feels more like the GT, so that's pretty impressive. And going back to the screen and the buttons and stuff, I think it has a good balance of physical controls versus things that you have to do on the touchscreen. It does like have haptic controls for some of the radio and climate control, which I don't like haptic buttons, but they're at least clear, visible, and very easy to reach from the driver's position, and they're always in the same position, so that's always good. Like, it bugs me when things on touchscreens change. It's
like the Rivian.
Yeah, the Rivian, like some of the controls that you want to hit, like map, can change positions on the touchscreen, which is, to me, it's like the absolute worst thing to do on something that you're going to use often. But
yeah,
this is a lot of fun.
And I am getting thrown around enough that it's hard to move, but I'm gonna try touch these a bit. So this screen, I'm trying to touch there. The interesting thing about this, so it's very screen heavy, right? But it doesn't look too fingerprinty. Nah, actually that's really fingerprinty.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad as a glassy screen. Like, if you can tell, there's a bit of a matte finish. It's like slightly muted, really nice. I'm just impressed.
I think there's a light mode and a dark mode. We're in the dark mode, which is what we always stay in the Mach-E's. And I really like the look at this one. It hides the bevel really well. But handling wise, like now, like I was saying, the steering felt a little bit heavy on the freeway until I switched modes. And then now back through here, it's a great feel of the steering just going through the corners here.
Oh my goodness.
And it's just a lot of fun. EVs are so much fun, so if you are doing some comparison shopping for EVs, people that hop in and out of a bunch of different ones and drive a lot of high performance cars will, notice a lot of those differences. But what I try to tell people is, like, almost every single EV that you hop into is going to be a lot of fun driving. The instant torque, the ease of driving. I barely have touched the brake. I did sort of like the emergency brake, but going through here, it's like if I want to slow down a little bit, let off the accelerator. So they're easy and fun to drive, no matter which one you get. So if you are, like if you test drove an Ioniq 5 or maybe an ID4, you're like, wow, that was a lot of fun. Is the EV6 going to be just as fun? Yes, and it may be slightly more fun or slightly sportier handling, but they're all pretty fun on these type of roads. And if you drive them back to back, you'll probably notice the difference, but normal day-to-day driving, they're all really a lot of fun compared to anything that like you probably used to drive in the gas car world.
And it's really strange, but I feel like you get used to a very even, heavy base of the vehicle. Like even as a passenger, you can feel that the weight is distributed quite smoothly.
It's so low that the big giant gas guzzler that we were driving on the way over here, it felt very top heavy. And it just feels planted.
Yeah, and definitely the battery contributes to that as well as the design.
We should have, if we have time, it'd be fun to bring the GT over here. I don't know if we will have that time today, but
oh yeah,
keep this same road.
Oh yeah, that's a really interesting idea. Let's do it. We can come back.
Should have drove our Mach-E over to the.
I know. I thought about it. I guess we'll go back and then come back.
Yeah. But this is a great road. I've actually been on this road more on a bike than in a car.
Yeah, and it's kind of strange that there aren't any cyclists here right now.
Well,
but I guess it is a work
Thursday.
day. Yeah, but you see 70-year-old retired cyclists, all with a smile on their face, all over Colorado.
But I'm really enjoying the feel of this, and depending on what you're looking for, looks and style and range. I think this one has a range of 310 miles, which is excellent.
Really nice, yeah.
This is actually a great option, and I've told friends when they ask which one would I pick, I'm like, a lot of it boils down to is like, which one can you find? There's a cyclist.
Yay, cyclists. Happy 70-year-olds?
Yep. It'd be very hard to get any of these EVs right now. The tax credits have changed a lot of things. This one just lost the tax credit, unfortunately. The Mach-E still has it. The Mach-E, they're not even taking orders right now. Hopefully the order banks will be open by the time you see this, or to 2023. Kia, for a lot of it, you got to like call around and check with dealer after dealer to find one. And there may be markups or whatnot, but you can still find things at MSRP. We got both of our Mach-Es under MSRP. We still only own one. Don't want you to think
both
that
our
we have two.
Mach-Es in succession.
But you may have to do some shopping, but really it's like, as long as you're okay with like the styling and interior features, they're all great cars. And we did a big comparison with Out of Spec Studios. I'll put a link, or we'll put a link above or below, whatever, for that one. But it was comparing EV6, Genesis GV60, the Mach-E, ID4, like a bunch of different ones, and the Model Y. They're all so fun, and I wouldn't be unhappy with any of them in my driveway.
Neither. And now we have not actually been in the GV60, which we hope to today, but really it is, like Patrick said, down to your preference. And if it's a financial thing, which is totally understandable, then that'll decide it for you. But like, I really like this cabin. I would pick this car. I'm not sure if I would pick it over the Mach-E, but aesthetically, I enjoy this interior a lot. Actually, I prefer the Mach-E exterior for sure. But the interior of this is really nice. It's really good. And of course, we have manual air control as well. They're saying, that was nice of them. They were moose. By the way, we know that the plural of moose is moose, but don't you just want to say mooses?
Yeah.
Moosies?
That was so
that
cool.
was really cool. I felt like we had to whisper.
Yeah, so that was so cool. I do want to mention, I don't want to forget this. One great advantage that this has is the charging. So it has an 800 volt battery pack versus like the Mach-E, the ID4, and the Model Y even. They're all like 400 volt battery packs. This has an 800 volt battery pack. And what that means is it can charge a lot faster. So if you go to Electrify America with the Mach-E, it takes like 38 minutes to go from 10 to 80%. This can be down to 18 minutes. So if you are doing a lot of road tripping, that can make a significant difference. But it depends on how much road tripping you are doing and how far your road trips are. So like we did a big race from Fort Collins to Las Vegas, and a bunch of cars, but like comparing it to the Ioniq 5, which is like the sister of this car, we left at Fort Collins at the exact same time, and we got to Green River, Utah, just as they were finishing up, and we were right behind them. So like maybe they were 18 minutes ahead of us, and that's 400 miles away. So if you're doing like a 400-mile trip, that, you know, the difference may only be about 18 minutes.
But if you are worried about that, this does have more range and it does have more powerful charging. So that is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is great. And if you did watch that race, then you'll know which car won and which car lost. And so if that is important to you, then your choice would make sense. This is a very beautiful little drive too.
And then now we're basically back. We're gonna go floor it.
Oh my goodness. That's really quite a fun sound.
Yeah. And we're up to the speed limit. Pretty quick.
Pretty quick. It really is.
So let us know what you guys think. Do you have a preference? And when you are car shopping, does it come down to like little features and like how the buttons feel or whatnot? Or is it a lot about the looks, the color that you can get it in? You know, let us know. What are your deciding factors when you're looking for a car, not just an EV? Is range a big factor when you are looking at EVs, charging speed? I don't know.
Well, and by the same token, then, if range is a big factor for you in your EV consideration, and you have a gas vehicle, how's your range now? Like, is it like the Lexus we were just in that's 19 miles per gallon, or do you have a really great range vehicle? It's weird because the priorities do shift with EV versus gas, but some of them, I think, like range, I think is a little less of a concern for us now since we've road tripped across the country with 270 miles of range, and I know that we need to stop every 200 miles, pretty much.
Yeah.
You know, so like maybe everyone has different preferences, and also as you get used to it, I think your preferences change for sure.
And another factor that you might consider are the driver's assistance features. All of these EVs generally have some pretty good driver's assistance. We're not going to test it on this one just because we're on curvy roads where I want to drive. But that's something that I think each system has its own quirks. They're all fairly good. A lot of people have the belief that autopilot is the best. If you look at straight up autopilot compared to some of these other systems, they're fairly close. They do the job of doing like a I-70 interstate type drive fairly well compared to autopilot. So that's not a huge factor for us. But some people prefer like one system over the other. I like Blue Cruise. A lot of people are surprised by that, but I think the people that are surprised by that haven't actually given it a try. The one here is also excellent. I believe I do in the Ioniq 5, so I believe in this one it'll be true as well, but it can actually do lane changes. And here's our exit. So that's another bonus. This has actually a lot of bonuses for a vehicle that's $54,000, I think is the sticker on this one, which is slightly less than the Mach-E GT Premium. But of course, like I said, you know, there are some differences, like no glass roof here.
Oh, and it's a vegan leather interior, which is great.
Yeah.
We like that. There's wireless phone charging. It's actually really nice looking. It's right by your hand. I'm trying to see, like, what is their driver assistance called?
They have some of it listed.
Yeah.
This one may not come with it because I didn't see, like, it just said like lane keep assist.
I don't think it does come with it. This is all-wheel drive, 320 horsepower. Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
446 pound-foot of torque. And this one actually has 274 miles of range. I thought they said more. So very similar to the Mach-E.
I think you can get up to 310.
Well, we ended up having to hop out of the car so that the next group could get their drive in the EV6. As you can see, this isn't the flashiest of colors that you can get the EV6, but I still think it looks pretty cool and sort of technologically advanced, if you will. A lot of people don't like the rear of the EV6, the way it sort of has some interesting angles, we'll say. I think it looks pretty neat, although that charge port location gets rather dirty. I really do like the inside of the EV6. I think it's a very comfortable place, as well as balance between the screen that goes across the dash and just the right amount of buttons. There's decent storage inside the center console, a wireless charging pad, a couple of cup holders. And in the back, there's a pretty good amount of storage, although you lose a bit because of the angle of the rear roof. But anyways, that's all we have for now. Thanks for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, please subscribe. Bye.